Thank you, sir. Acknowledged honourable member for City West.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Just wish to make a few comments on the Tourism Authority Act 2008. As you know, Madam Speaker, back in 1997, the equivalent, that is the Tourism Development Corporation Act, was passed in 1997. But apparently, the main reason why that act was not made operational is because the minister had some concern that, based on the number of functions that would have been outsourced, that he may have been made redundant. I see now, Madam Speaker, that the present Minister of Tourism has skillfully included in the first schedule, 1A, that the minister may, with the approval of the cabinet, serve as the chairman. And I suspect, Madam Speaker, that this is, in essence, a safeguard against redundancy of the minister. But, Madam Speaker, whereas I understand the need for that particular safeguard, it also presents some fundamental problems. Obviously, Madam Speaker, you could have a situation of Caesar unto Caesar. For instance, you could also have a conflict of interest in which the reporting mechanism may be compromised, because whereas the Act calls for the board to report to the minister, then in essence you have the minister reporting to himself. Now, assuming that remuneration will be paid to the directors, including the chairman, it is the very minister, if he decides to serve as chairman, who will have to set his own remuneration. Or the question would have been, would the minister be eligible for remuneration having been paid as a minister? Or is he going to forego his ministerial pay and perhaps take the pay as chairman of the corporation? So these are issues that must be addressed. And it also sets a very dangerous precedent, Madam Speaker, in that you have other authorities, other statutory corporations in which, I guess, ministers could argue, for whatever reason, that based on the precedent that would have been set under this Act, that they also have the right to serve as the chairperson of that particular authority. So I understand what the minister is trying to achieve here. I understand his fears. But at the same time, Madam Speaker, we'll be solving one problem, but creating some other problems. And I just want some consideration to be given to that clause as to the wisdom of the minister serving as the chairman of this authority. And the other issue here, Madam Speaker, is that I recognize that what is being sought here is a form of corporatization in which they're trying to, rather than make it into a full private entity, to have some form of public sector involvement, at least in terms of the ownership. But I sense, though, Madam Speaker, that having the minister as the chairman of the authority, that in essence will result in a concentration of power in the hands of the minister, and which may have the practical result of this authority being an extension of a department of the Ministry of Tourism. So, again, there are some fundamental problems that could develop as a result of the minister serving in that capacity, and my recommendation would have been that that particular provision be taken out. And the minister has to decide whether or not he really wants this authority. Not on the one hand, to create what is supposed to be an independent authority, and then on the other hand, still trying to hold on as a chairman. So if it is that the minister believes that this particular authority will undermine his position with the ministry, within the ministry, will make him redundant, then the simple thing to do is not to pass it. But don't try and pass it. Can't be, fish and fowl at the same time. Don't pass it, and then at the same time, put a safeguard in there to protect yourself, which could create other problems down the road. The other issue I want to address briefly, Madam Speaker, and I really don't wish to be controversial or contentious in any way, but I believe that when we are appropriating praise unto individuals, that it must be justified. Madam Speaker,